Hey everyone, welcome to the new year. It is 2023, which means it's also time to do a new showcase. We gotta knock these out early this year because there's some good stuff coming up, but today is January 1st, at least at the time that I'm posting this in the Eastern time zone, and I guess a lot of others. But anyway, don't worry about it. If you're in Australia, you're late. I'm sorry. Send me your fastest Baja race car, please. That's exactly what I need. This time, we're going to be doing a Baja showcase. Full disclosure, these rules were written by Overlord and some of the members of the mod team, and also they have been up on the Discord in various forms over the past couple weeks, just with the community providing feedback so that we could get it down to something a little bit more reasonable. Let me show you what I'm looking at. So this is the Google Doc with the rules in it, partially made by Overlord and Olivier, and also edited by me, so the things are a little bit all over the place, but I've added some colors to try and make it easier for you, and let's just do a quick run through of the rules right now. As this is a Google Doc, it can change, so I would encourage you to check it before you do anything. Specifically, the dates at the bottom, this stuff can definitely be changed, but you'll notice Showcase is opening today. But before you get too excited, we're not going to be taking submissions until January 4th, and that's just because there needs to be a little bit of time between the start and accepting submissions for the rules to kind of improve. People usually find issues as soon as we open things up, so 3 days we ought to be able to solve all those. The final date for submissions is the 14th, so don't miss that. That gives you 10 days from the day that it opens, and I think that's enough time without being too much so that people forget. Okay, so Baja Showcase. This is a little bit more specific than the Drag Race Showcase that I did last year. The Drag Race Showcases that I do are often just like unlimited, do whatever the heck you want. I mean, as long as you're not cheating, then you're good. And this one has a class, actually two classes that are more like that, but there is also a little bit more specific classes if you're interested in narrowing things down. If you're familiar with Baja, it'll make things a lot easier. So we're going to be using the public branch of automation for this, which is the UE427. You don't need to be in any betas for this showcase, just the public branch. That's the one that's least likely to be drastically changed, so it makes sense. So the cars are all going to be before 1995, which means you can set it to 1995, but you can't do 1996. 1995 is the newest you get. No crazy slider stuff, just leave everything at 0, please. No down or up, just 0. That makes it a little bit more fair for everybody. And every vehicle is going to need to have advanced safety, and that's just to simulate that these vehicles tend to have roll cages, and you can see a lot of stuff in the cockpit of this thing, even though it's a specific chassis Baja truck, but it's got a roll cage, it's got like sports seats and all that stuff. Advanced safety just makes sense. There is going to be a drastic change from the usual because you're actually allowed to submit 2 cars for this. What I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to make my own car as well. It's going to be quick and dirty, but I'll just give you a bit of a rundown on one of the classes. So if you're here for that, you can skip to a certain timestamp. So you get 2 submissions, and you cannot submit 2 cars in the same class because then you're competing with yourself. Of the 4 classes, we have Trophy Truck Unlimited, Sportsman Unlimited, Class 7, and Class Half plus 5 minus 1600, which I'm now referring to as negative 1594.5. So for the Trophy Truck class, basically all that you have to do is just make it look like a trophy truck. Engine and displacement and stuff can all just be relative. It doesn't really matter. Cost doesn't matter. Something that is key with this, again, is that it actually needs to look like a trophy truck, and it should sort of be similar to a trophy truck. Like maybe the trucks back in 87 or whatever your year is all ran V8s. You should probably run a V8 too, but again, that's not limited. It just needs to look like it. So make something, and then as long as it looks right, you're good. Same thing in the sportsman class, except with sportsman, it's literally just no rules at all, and you can make whatever you want. This is my favorite class because I like seeing the kind of ridiculousness that people can come up with. I know most Baja vehicles are either 4-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive. You could probably get away with front-wheel drive in Sportsman. Not saying that you should, but it's an option. I know that the original intention for this showcase was to make it so that we have a slew of realistic Baja vehicles, Most people are going to enter at least one vehicle into the sportsman class, and that's kind of what I would suggest. Pick one of these unlimited classes, put a vehicle in that, and then pick one of these more specific ones down below, like class 7 and class half, and then put a vehicle into those, because these ones have a little bit more rules to them, a little bit more specific, and a little bit more work required, but I think these ones will be rewarding as well. But yeah, I have the perfect vehicle for the Sports Unlimited class, and we're going to be making that today. Moving a little bit forwards, class 7 is where things get a little bit more specific, as I said before, but the most specific is the next one. So this one says, a class where production cars are modified to race. You're limited by engine displacement and cost, as well as the look of your car, as they are modified production cars specifically for Baja Class 7 vehicles. You can look up Class 7 to get an idea of what this looks like. But they have to resemble a production vehicle, at least sort of. So say you take your Honda Civic and you modify it for Baja. That's essentially what this class is. But things can get very out of control quite fast with this. Final engine displacement, naturally aspirated, is going to be 4.5 liters. And then forced induction is what FI means. So if you have forced induction, 3.4 liters is max with a vehicle cost of $90,000. So keep in mind that if you turbo it, it's going to be more expensive. Naturally aspirated is going to be cheaper. You might actually be able to make more power naturally aspirated, but we'll see what people come up with. This is one that I have not personally tested, but apparently it's fairly decent. So hopefully things end up being fair. Although, as with every one of these more specific classes, a grand strategy will be revealed. Okay, so class negative 1594.5 is a class where Baja buggies and Volkswagen Beetles duke it out against each other. So this is basically like only two bodies that you can use with a 4-cylinder boxer engine, fixed displacement of 1.6 liters, and everything else is kind of up to you. But you can make as much power as you need to out of that engine. It's not going to be very big, but you can face off against cars that are very, very similar. I suspect that this class might be the most competitive because of the restrictions, and also being stuck with only two bodies means that there's no like wheel gimmicks or anything. It's just as is here, and we'll have to see where things go with that. Again, the rules, just keep those in mind. Everything is going to be tested in Johnson Valley. The track is yet to be determined. I'm going to be driving them, so make them easy to drive, please and thank you. Probably using a controller, but that might be changed. I do have a force feedback wheel I can use. But as of right now, I'm thinking Xbox controller for the ease of use. And as with everything, this is all for fun. No prizes, just be creative and have fun. The thing to keep in mind here is we want to keep this to the spirit of Baja, so try and make your car Baja-esque. I know that you don't necessarily have to with classes like Sportsman. The one that I'm going to make is probably not going to be very Baja, but I have some really terrible ideas. That being said, it would be best if you could make yours look the part. These will be reviewed by our moderation team, and they'll tell you if it doesn't quite match the class. And I mean, if you mess up your class, you'll probably just end up in Sportsman Unlimited. So we have a fallback. But anyway, guys, let's get into my actual build for this. So the first car of the year has to be a Bugo, because of course it does. And keeping in mind everything that I said previously, this kind of does get complicated because this is supposed to be a Baja vehicle, and I've just started with a small Yugo hatchback. Yeah, we're entering the Sportsman class, which is the one that is unlimited, but I have some ideas, and I think that this might come together decently without having to change the car too drastically. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is reset the trim aesthetic, because this is a 3-wheeler that I made, and now it's a proper 4-wheeler. So what I need to do basically to make this thing work is go over to the wheels. The offset that it currently has is not quite as much as I'd like, so I'm just gonna try to increase that a little bit more. You know what all good Baja vehicles need is like really nasty soft suspension. Nasty in a good way, like sick nasty. I'm bringing that back for 2023, by the way. And yeah, we need a lot more offset, like a ton more offset. I'm talking like 100, actually that's not quite enough, 150? Yeah, 150 offset. I'm going to go 13-inch rims, which on this car actually look massive. And I'm going to go chunky. Oh, no, you know what? All-terrain tires are probably best, but that's one thing that people are going to have to experiment with. Now, we need to make these wheels wider because currently they just are not wide enough. 30, maybe 40. This is going to be the same on the front and the back. Here's where things get interesting. The front tire size. We need to increase the size of these by a significant margin. And with the rear matched the front, we officially have a very, very off-road oriented Bugo. Tons and tons of width. And yeah, there's still nothing else has changed here. I need to do a lot more. So one of the things that I need to do is go through this entire car and reset all of the quality sliders to 0 because, yeah, awkwardly this might actually help out the Yugo here because it's got some definite problems. I'm going to have to change the entire engine, so we'll get to that in a sec. But part of its problems are caused by the ridiculously low quality components, so raising this up to 0 is going to make things better. We're in 1982, so that's pretty darn close to 1995. It's before, so it's fine. And the safety is something I need to keep in mind, so we're advanced 80s safety. That's as good as you can get in this car, so that's as good as we need. I actually might be able to squeak this into the Class 7 stuff because it's a production car, quote unquote, but I feel like the Unlimited class just lends more to this beauty. So first thing that we got to do is change the engine and the drivetrain so that it isn't crap, because at the moment it is very crap. I'm going to make the entire car out of fiberglass. We're going to actually swap it to a ladder frame, and that'll allow us to get a hopefully decent longitudinal engine in there with double wishbones on the front and leafs on the back, maybe. We do need all-wheel drive. Okay, we'll go double wishbone on the back too. By the way, I modified the rules a little bit as I'm doing this because I realized that when it was talking about bonus ladders, it was talking about this. So yeah, just keep the tech pool stuff at 0. And for the purposes of the showcase, we'll just have quality set to 0 as well. I know that does limit a little bit of creativity, but we'll just keep things even at 0 everywhere. That basically prevents people from going absolutely out of control. So I think that that should be decent enough. We're going to need a new engine. Actually, I'm just going to change this current engine. I've already renamed it, so whatever. We can do what we want. 38 horses ain't going to cut it. Let's see how we're doing. We need 4x4, ideally, and we're already pretty darn close to the maximum length with an inline 3. Or, sorry, inline 4. It's a 1.8 liter. Oh, man, it's so small, too. Dang. Well, we could do all-wheel drive and fit a bit more in there, but I don't know. We're just going to have to stick with the 1.8 inline 4, and there's not going to be much I can do with this. Okay, it's a 2 liter now. We'll get a little bit extra out of it with the 2 liters. Naturally, I'm going to turbo it because, of course, that's exactly what I want to do. Let's turn up the quality, which is probably going to break the entire thing. High quality stuff here too, and then high quality exhaust as well, or just 0 quality. Man, we do not get a lot of options for turbos back in 1982. I guess that's how things worked back then, but man. Alright, let's see where we're doing with power. Doesn't want to show me. There we go. 76. Oh boy. Well, okay, there's some more work to be done here. The single barrel carb that is exceptionally small is probably not going to work for this. 78 horsepower. Yeah, let's do a... Let's keep it carbureted because I never carburate anything in this. 4-barrel carb, just the single 4-barrel, I guess. 143, not bad. I'm going to run E85 to try and help out with our fueling, and that's 167. Brakes are suffering. We'll fix that in a bit. Valve float is also an issue. Of course it is. Let's AI tune this for power and see what happens. Okay, 199. Not bad, actually. Not bad at all. Okay, so it really wants to tune the carburetor conservatively with this setup. I just went through the exhaust, and we have tubular race exhaust on there now, which looks pretty ridiculous in this engine and also clips through, but man, is it cool. Overall, I think this engine is decent. You can see the header on there, or the intake is just massive. That turbo is pretty small. It is making good power. 200 horsepower, back in these days especially, was quite a significant amount. I think it's going to be good enough for this purpose. I love how the color of the Bugo is called Minnow. It's just perfect. Yeah, this is the minnow. Okay, in terms of design, I'm just going to go for a super simple setup here. That is a lot of S's. Basically, we have our intercooler sticking out. I'm going to make it stick out even further. Also, we have some absolutely ridiculous fenders that we can use. These things are massive and also perfect for this. Some of them, yeah, this is going to be good. All right, now that the fenders are on, I need to make modifications to surround that, essentially. I also want to put on... Oh man, there's actually quite a bit here. License plates are necessary. Let's do the intercooler cutout first. It looks so small, but there it is, the intercooler cutout. Alright, next thing on the old cutout list is the entire inner fenders, because that's way too much red in there and that needs to go, basically. Okay, I gotta admit, this is real quick and real dirty, but it definitely is getting somewhere. The Baja Bugo is, semi-complete. It needs a lot more effort. Okay, a lot of work later and I have something that mildly resembles a Baja truck. It really is just like an off-road Bugo thing, but yeah, I do intend to actually try it out in this video as well, so stick around. It's time to slap some sponsors on it. Then we'll go for a drive in BeamNG. Well, I suck at liveries, but I have tried to just slap some stickers on there. To some effect, things have changed, I guess. It's time that I updated this whole setup, because at the moment it's, yeah, a little janky, but I think that's gonna go well. Currently, well, we're base rear-wheel drive. The thing is four-wheel drive, so we should have the option to switch into whatever we want. Let's go manual 5-speed, and actually look at the graphs to make sure that I know what I'm doing here. Honestly, not bad in terms of the initial tuning. 245s on the back, 215 on the front, but we know it's a little more than that. Vented discs on the front, I'm going to do 2 piston just to give it a little bit of something. And the backs are probably too large. I'm just gonna ignore all of this stuff back here. Aerodynamics, off-road skid tray, that's all you get. Seats, we'll take out the back because we definitely don't need those. Safety was one of the things I needed to make sure I had, and the quality, as you can see on this stuff, is far too low, so let's turn that back up. Unfortunately, that means our weight went up by like 100 kilos, so it does weigh a bit more than it should, but it's alright. Let's go rack and pinion steering. I don't know, that'll make it nicer. And it's fully optimized for lightness, which is why it's so light. Weight distribution is actually set to the front. We should probably change that. Suspension is just an off-road preset. It should be extremely soft, which is good. And I think the Bugo Baja, which is just a demo, is ready for the Johnson Valley map. We'll see how good it does. I don't know. I think it's going to be fun. So let's give it a shot. Oh yeah, it's my daily off-roader in Johnson Valley. The perfect location, by the way. If you didn't see this video, I would suggest checking it out to know what I'd be driving at the start of every single one of these videos now. So this is what a real trophy truck looks like, and this is what the Baja Bugo looks like. You can see why I've entered the unlimited do whatever you want class, because my half-hour design over here sucks compared to this thing. Overall though, it's not bad. I mean, it works. I probably could have gone with the double wheels at the back like the actual BeamNG one. But this is just something to consider if you're actually going to make a Baja truck for the other unlimited class. It should look something like this. Now the key here is, does this thing perform? It's in high four-wheel drive right now. Oh my goodness. Okay, the engine could have used a little bit more tuning, that's for sure. It's not slow though. I mean, it's fairly fast in the dirt. We already lost a fender. Oh no, we lost 2 fenders, come on. Yeah, so this is a Baja style track here. It's extremely cool. And even though I've lost all but one of my fenders, I figure we take this thing for a drive out here in the proper Baja circuit. It is definitely loud, this car. One little trick, by the way, if you're wondering, is that wheel on the back is a tire plus a really ancient style like wooden wheel that I painted black. So yeah, that's how you get around the lacking rims in this. You know, this actually fits really well into the whole like sand stuff. I don't know why, but it sounds perfect. It really doesn't drive the best, but I think it's just a decent overall vehicle. And we're losing parts of it constantly. There goes the front bumper as well. Seems like I can pretty much navigate the entire track in second, which is cool. The reason why we don't have the option to lock the diffs and stuff, even though it's four-wheel drive, is because I made it have an electric LSD, which may have been a mistake, but I don't know. It's probably better to have the electronics control that stuff than me. Okay, we're gonna round this fast corner. The car doesn't make any power until 3,000 RPM, which is totally my fault in the tuning of the engine. I just wanted the power number and I didn't care about anything else, so that's what you get. Also, massive jumps. Oof. Oh, landed it. Come on. Yes. Okay, let's go this way. Now, I don't know if this is actually going to be part of the track that we drive on for the showcase, and I can't tell you exactly what track we're going to be using yet because I have to test them all and make sure that it's a reasonable one. The basic gist of it, though, is it's going to be in Johnson Valley here for sure, and we need something that's around 2 minutes-ish per run instead of 5 or so, like I know some of the tracks around here are. So this may or may not be my testing vehicle for that, although I expect your cars to have a lot more than 200 horsepower. This thing is fairly light, it's fairly squishy, but I don't know, it's not very fast. And the torque is extremely lacking, come on. There you go, okay. Takes a while to get moving. Oh, it's so rough around here, so rough. Oh man, you know, the super high ride height might actually be fighting me on this. So as I drive this car to its fullest extent, i.e. ridiculously slow start time, you have to rev it to get going at proper speed with this thing. Otherwise it just will not drive in the slightest. But I'm excited for this showcase. I think it's going to be a fun one. Thank you to the guys who originally wrote the rules and started this, specifically Overlord. He's been pushing me to try and get another showcase out, which is something I need because honestly I don't want to do these too often. It is a lot of work for us in the background and also for me organizing this stuff, but it will be worth it. I hope that you guys find it to be fun. I really love off-road stuff. One of my first PC racing games was actually Baja 1000, so I have had a lot of experience running these kind of vehicles, at least in a really crappy Activision game from, what is it, 2005 maybe? I don't know. But I do know one thing for sure, and that is we need to crash this Bugo into something extremely violently as well. So up we go. And I guess that counts? No, okay, I gotta do something better than this. Aim for the bushes, boys. Here we go. Oh! Oh my goodness. Well, it's a three-wheeler now. But yeah, all of the information is gonna be up on my Discord, so please check it out. Make sure to build some cool stuff. Let me just turn this on. There we go. Build some cool stuff. I want to see what you guys are capable of. And just a quick heads up, by the way, these Baja trucks only have 3 gears, so you got to get that tuning just right, unlike me, and make something cool, make something that can drive well, and I'll fill you in on the rest as time goes on. So yeah, check it out, link in the description, and I'll see you guys again soon. Big thanks to those who have chosen to support this channel via the join button. We have Overlord, QT Bear, Terria1, J Pope, Davis Heister, the German Dude, Sinlab, Badger, Baja Blast, Trevor Cousin, Goofy Plays, Phoenix Shark, and Nat64. A new year, a new time, and hopefully some new fun. Hope things are going well for you.